First and foremost, I want to say Kalam Yahweh Shem Yahshai Bashem HaKakodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles, great millstone, dual, rule, and teach well. And honors to the best, push the truth across the four corners with all sincerity. Alright. Taz upon you checking out another video. We're going to start off with Jeremiah 50 and 4. In those days and that time, say the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going weeping, they shall go and see the Lord their power. Alright, and this precepts into Jeremiah 17 and 4, us being discontinued from our heritage, right? Because the people, we went off from serving the Heavenly Father, and so the Lord had us pushed out of the land, right, and had us discontinued from our ways and from knowing who we were, right? 70 AD, for example, our people left, a large amount of Judites left and came over to Africa, settling, predominantly like the West Coast, right, in different areas, and they were there for a time, and then Esau eventually came down there and jacked their people up and brought them over to America to serve bondage. The Northern Kingdom, they were taken as captives. I think like 722 BC, round about. The siege of the siege of Samaria. I think Shalmaneser the fifth started it, Sargon the second finished it. And our people were dragged. The Northern Kingdom were taken away and brought to different parts around the Tigris and Euphrates, but then they left. I believe brothers mentioned that perhaps it could have been around the time of the fall of Assyria and the rise of the Neo-Babylonian Empire that they left and used as an opening to escape and went over to America, all right? Which is, that's prophesied of in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, the Northern Kingdom leaving, right, and going to a land whenever mankind dwelt, right? Men have been here, right, like those Hamites that King Solomon was sending. However, no one was a permanent dweller here. No nation was a permanent dweller here before the Northern Kingdom. Alright, so all these scholars trying to say that so-called Native Americans have been in America for millions and millions of years, they going off, man. Alright, they've been here for over 2,000 years. Right, because now Yahushua, it was about 2,000 years ago. So before then, maybe like 3,000. See, 700, maybe like 27. I don't know. Let's say like 20. It could be 2,600, but they weren't there no millions of years. Over 2,000 years they've been here, right? But no millions of years ago. Yeah, and I'm saying from now, Northern Kingdom being here now, they've been here for over 2,000 years ago, because they were here when Yahushua was on the scene. They were already here. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened. Right, so the children of Israel, children of Judah, right now, this is the kingdom, right? The tabernacle of David coming together within the bounds of this truth, right? Because the Kakodash, the enmity ceases between the southern kingdom, another kingdom, and you see that brothers, just they be linking up, they be hanging out, they be brotherly with each other, that brotherly love, that kindness, charity amongst the brotherhood, right? The ends of the kingdom coming together, man, within the bounds of this truth, right? Going and weeping, they shall go and see the Lord their power. Yeah, exactly, right? And of course that started, with the elders before our elders and apostles of Great Millstone and our Visions, King Masha, High Priest Arya, eventually going down to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the bishops and the men, right? The truth being out there, right? And us, going and seeking the Lord through this truth, man, right? And you seek the Lord through his men, right? And as I said, that's been set up, through our elders and apostles on down to the brothers, right? Where you can go seek the Lord, like it says in Isaiah 55, right? Seek the Lord while he may be found. Right? You seek the Lord by going to his men, through his mouthpiece, his servants, the prophets. They shall ask the way to Zion, with their face to the word, saying, "Come, let's join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten." Right? Yeah, they're gonna ask the way to Zion, seeking the kingdom, saying, "Come, let us ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten." Exactly. Through this truth, if you be the hopeful elect, receiving that new body, having the new covenant. All right. However, like it says in Revelation, Romans 11:7. All right, the elect have attained it. Right, the kingdom. All right, because the kingdom starts with the brotherhood, and the believers as a whole. Right, but it will soon be manifested once the true inheritance and promises are given unto the elect. Right, which is, if you be the elect, Lord only be that number, we will receive. Right, so yeah, the fully manifested inheritance and promises of the kingdom. Okay, but the kingdom starts now with us, as a whole, right? Which not every man is, called to be a prophet. Some are called to be prophets. Some are called to, repost videos, give alms. A woman's only job is to please her husband. To be quiet, just say shalom on the comment board. Her lot is not to be out on highways and byways, regardless. Right. So yeah, let's see. Okay, click those bags here. This is Book of Isaiah 30 and 20. The Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction. Yet shall not thy teachers be removed yet shall not the teachers be removed to a corner anymore, but then I shall see the teachers. Alright, so though, as a people we've been given the bread of adversity, being in a lower state, jacked up, hated amongst these other nations, a laughing stock. Like it says, in the scriptures, what is it? A proverb and a byword, being called all these derogatory terms by these heathen. them being the head and us being the tail. Alright. Our teachers will not be removed to a corner anymore. Right? Because the Lord, like he says in Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, the Lord brought that skin, upon the bones, man. That people come out of that, that spiritually dead state. And when I say our people, I'm not referring to the 2/3, man, right? Because they're still in a spiritually dead state. They're blinded. All right, I'm speaking upon, lawful elect. All right, allow that skin be upon them. They know who they are, right? And following this truth, all right. Yeah, so on and so forth. Becoming spiritually alive, having the Rakakwadash. Right. So, but yeah, through that, and I, teachers coming back. Right. If it's your lot to be a teacher, to be a prophet, that refers to you as well. Right. Because we go on highways and byways, and we're seen. Right. And we don't go on highways and byways, just to be showy or whatever. We go there to call the hopeful elect of our people, right? To cry loud and spare not, to stand in the chief place of concourse, right? Like the scriptures tell us to do, right? But yeah, your eyes will see thy teachers, right? The truth is out there, right? Like it says in 2nd Ezra 6th chapter, the firmaments were opened. The book was opened before the firmament, and then through the satellites. Start with the elders and apostles. Right? The truth being pushed out on YouTube, and now you can see this truth, anywhere, anytime. You can even download videos if you're traveling. You can download videos and watch videos anywhere. Like got YouTube to MP4 converters, so you could always, download videos if you see fit. You could watch them on the way, wherever you're going. You can watch videos on your way to work. You can watch videos like anywhere. You can watch videos while you're at work if you have some downtime. So on and so forth. Alright. So let's see. I think I'm gonna let that be that. Yeah, I'm gonna let that be that. 1 out of 5 to say shalom.